So we can see that a $10 trillion Morgan Stanley confirms they are now recommending 4% Bitcoin allocation to clients. This is one of the biggest banks in America, and they're now openly pro Bitcoin. Now, this happened at the Bitcoin 2026 conference, and this is very, very good news, especially in a market where Bitcoin is about halfway through the normal Bitcoin bear market. As we see right now on a technical level, some interesting things have actually played out. So far, we got perfectly rejected at the 200-day MA, which you and I both know. This is the point of rejection in every other bear market since 2018. So 2 prior bear markets that I've personally been in, and even probably before that. But right now, what we're seeing is pretty interesting. We saw the market push down as I like to tell you, I know that people come in and they get late longs right here. People don't want to go long in these regions for some reason, right? Because this is where it's very scary. They want to go long in these regions. Now, the thing is that's funny is at these regions, right, it's resistance. And so when people go extremely long here, it gives their, the chance, if the manipulation thesis, which I believe is wholeheartedly correct here, that the price is probably going to come down. This is just simple math though, right? Because if you can liquidate enough people on the way down, people on the other side of that trade can potentially make that money if they are manipulating the market. It really is as simple as that. So we use some simple data here on the channel to figure out what the market is thinking. So right now we have about 5.58 billion on the 30-day for the longs and about 10.7 billion for the short. So what we can see is there's about twice as many shorts in the market than there are longs. However, just about 3 days ago, there was almost no longs and just shorts. So that's when I actually alerted here on the channel that I was going to go into a long position. So I entered at 74,762, and right now we're in 35% profit, 10x leverage, $3,566 in profit. I've also moved my stop loss into exactly break even with a few dollars there to cover the fee of the trade. So right now I'm in a completely safe trade. If the price starts to reverse from here, I'll get stopped out and it doesn't really matter. As you know, I still have my larger Bitcoin trade open right here where the entry point was 62,700. Now, people say, well, how did you get these perfect entries right at the bottom? It sounds a bit nonsense. And it would if you were getting in to the channel right now and you hadn't watched back in February-ish, late February there, where I opened that last trade. It might seem like that. But the thesis is very simple. The strategy is very simple, but it is hard to play out because you have to go against your emotion, right? So yesterday, or the day before yesterday, in fact, when we came down to here, I looked at the data. I saw that we had, I think it was $13 billion worth of shorts. I saw that we had about $1 to $2 billion worth of longs. So I know, okay, the majority of the market right now of the trader world, they are currently going short. Where are they going short? Well, it's not at resistance like I discussed earlier. It's actually at support, which is the opposite to what I want to be doing. So couple the leverage data, the liquidation data, with very basic support, resistance, and moving averages, and you will find that right there, at about 74,000 was an opportune moment to enter. Now, is that a guaranteed win? Absolutely not. But what I can do is I can go back on the chart and I can say, okay, well, here seems like an interesting point. There might be a push to the downside to retest that liquidity pocket. So if I put my stop loss just below there, I can keep myself safe, or potentially just below previous lows, depending on how much risk you want to take. Or simply, as I did, I opened a isolated position. This is a 10x isolated position. So I essentially have 10% of margin, in the sense of margin for error. I mean, not margin in the account. So if the price goes down 10%, I get liquidated. But I know that in this trade, I'm risking 10,000 USDT. So I take the risk at the start. I'm risking $10,000. We then move up and I take that risk away by moving my stop loss to break even. That's the entire strategy here. And I'll see you in the next one.